So when we learn to tap into and follow our own inner authority, those things has tremendous value, and it can be the right thing. Not necessarily it's the wrong path, but we find out when we truly follow this authority and those profiles. Speaking of profiles, what you were talking about, Chris. Yes, this system here shares with us different profiles that we are, and there are certain themes in which these profiles operate under, and we can actually see, when we hear these themes, and we actually we get a reading, and we understand how our particular geometry, how we're actually wired up, and how this works within the themes that the system shares with us. We actually can see, oh wow, I can recall having certain experiences. You recognize certain things in yourself. That's the whole point about this system. You recognize it within you because it speaks about you and exactly how you're wired up. So it's that's the beauty of it. It really sets us in place to be able to deal with exactly what's going on now, the changes that's occurring, and the ones that's coming ahead of us. And if people can really understand really what's ahead, at least from a big picture point of view, it would be amazing. People would want to jump onto this thing immediately, but it's really hard to really imagine, because these 400-year cycles, it's not something we think of. It's just, we can't possibly imagine it, what a 400-year cycle is like, and that's what's going on. We're coming to the end of a 400-year cycle that creates and promises us massive changes. It's like the end of certain civilizations, basically, how they've changed and transformed into something else. That's where we're at. And so yeah, am I answering your question? Did I go off into too many different tangents? Was it too esoteric?
So for me, my perspective, I guess the key then is we're out here doing business, providing value, projecting profiles, with wisdom and experience, and understanding who we are. It's not about trying to be somebody that we're not. It's about surrendering to who we really are, and understanding what that looks like. Because I think too many people are out there trying to do something and with a motive of doing something or getting something, when I guess the moral of the story is, we use the word authenticity. I guess the key is to understand what that is for each of us, and explore that in the way that we're meant to explore it, and be that in the way that we're meant to be it.
But everyone would say, well, I am doing that. I am being that, from what they know, from the religious background that they grew up with, and gives them that sense of security and safety, or whatever background you've had. Everyone would pretty much have that sort of response. That's what I see. But this perspective in terms of sharing with people, when your profile, for example, as a generator type, which is 70% of the population, they're builders, generators, doers. When I say to them, well, you're here really to respond to life, and it's always coming to you, it's always happening, allow it to come, and wait for it to come, or at least be aware of how it's coming to you. And there's certain ways that that I show them that, and teach them and how to become more aware. Or for you, for example, a project type, an advisor type, projector type, you're here to really understand and recognize how the other operates, and to allow that invitation to come, wait for an invitation to be recognized, and also to recognize that invitation you're receiving is something that's really authentic or not, before you can give your time, give your energy to it. So these are certain things. When people hear that, they're like, "Well, what do you mean I'm supposed to just sit around and wait? I can't do that. I got to get up and do something. That's what I know. I have to keep going. I've been so successful, and whatever, when, like, for example, you hear stories of the, Zappos, the
Yeah,
founder,
Tony Hsieh.
Tony Hsieh, yeah,
Yeah.
beautifully, so many beautiful things people say about him, and yet, of the incredible success that he's had, and the intelligence that he has, and his life was somehow or the other torn apart interiorly, what he was going through, and something was a little bit, little awful, or who knows, but that led him to use drugs, and so on, in such a way, that he, self-destructive way. Um, I mean, there's lots of stories like that, all around. Such great talent and success, and yet, um, there's deep sadness and unhappiness, or not understanding how to deal with the intensities, or the stuff that life's throwing at us. Um, so this system, this knowledge, it really brings a breath of fresh air, and showing us how we're here to deal with the change that's occurring.